GTA is doing some crazy things, and PlayStation and joining PlayStation in trying to extract every penny out of the consumer. So let's get into this one actually.
Why is there a single account on Twitter that is seemingly releasing boatloads of clips from Grand Theft Auto 6? As the entire world that Rockstar has built burns to cinders around them, the story is complicated, but it's an interesting one for sure. So, in case you don't know somehow, yeah, GTA 6 has leaked again, this time from a build somewhere close to how the game operated in 2025. We know this because some of the clips that have leaked online that I obviously can't show here feature songs that have released in 2025 as well. And it's all because of this one account here, as you can see, that is called CyberLeak. Yes, a literal leak vegetable in a cyber suit, whose bio says that they're fighting for gamers' rights. So what exactly is going on? Well, it comes down to two things specifically: consumer rights and a meme coin. Let's start with the first one, as PC Gamer reported here. CyberLeak is claiming to be leaking all of this GTA 6 content because they want Rockstar and Take-Two to apologize for anti-consumerism practices. And the belief is that CyberLeak is doing this to strong-arm the video games industry into treating customers better by purposely leaking anything that they can get their hands on to ruin these future big game releases in order to force compliance out of all of these companies. CyberLeak also released a manifesto, if you can believe it, as to what they plan to do and what they want. So let's read the first part here. CyberLeak has been patient, that patience is over. What follows are three commandments. If CyberLeak targets a publisher, it is because that publisher broke one. CyberLeak will not stop until they issue a public statement and apology with a concrete commitment to be better. Words.
So like the thing that I also realized about gaming is that I believe that gaming is ahead of the curve when it comes to just like issues, especially in business and production, because like the technology and products in gaming shift so fast, and the culture in gaming shifts so much faster because the technology is advancing at a pace that is um exponential compared to other components of life. And when you look at gaming and in this consumerism situation, you can see how um, games having this consumer, I mean, I guess consumerism has been here prior to obviously gaming, but the fact that we're getting to a point where digital media and not owning things is something that is very apparent now in gaming. And you can kind of start seeing the trends along other facets of life, whether it's real estate, whether it's well, I think especially real estate. I think both of the two kind of show like, okay, well, right now with the way that the economy is moving, everything is going up in price, but you're owning less and less of what you're buying, right? And now you're in a situation where you're trying to buy things, but they're so expensive, so you can't really buy them because you have bills to pay for in order to live your life. And then they're also stripping the quality as well as how much of it that you're actually going to be able to own, compared to um, what it was in the past, right? And now we're in a situation where, okay, like, at what point is this going to stop? Because
Are not
we're
enough,
just going to keep digging
restitution
ourselves a
is
bigger hole.
mandatory. They continued. These three commandments are the floor, not the ceiling, of what is acceptable. If publishers violate them, they will be targeted. CyberLeak will continue to disrupt their operations until they issue a public statement and apology with a concrete commitment to fix the harm they caused. No private negotiations, no quiet settlements. The public sees it, or if the leaks do not stop, publishers should beware. If CyberLeak can reach Rockstar, no one is safe. This is a message to all big corporations: behave properly or be the next target it. This is CyberLeak's edict, and it is non-negotiable. So the 3 commandments this CyberLeak is issuing as non-negotiable are, as you can see here, Commandment 1 is thou shalt not sell digital pre-orders. The idea here is no digital game can be released until there is an independent review of some kind, and physical versions of games must continue to be created. The second commandment is thou shalt not sell.
But like, I don't even understand how you're selling a digital pre-order. Like, I like, and for me, I just don't understand how people are buying that. Like, how do you get something that's digital, right? It's not like it costs money to produce, but it costs nowhere near as much money for you to get the actual physical copy. So you're pre-ordering something that is literally just code, and you're pre-ordering it when that code can get taken away from you at any time because the company has the licensing and the ability to um, own the servers, and you're gonna be pre-ordering that without even knowing how the game is, without knowing anything. You just said, "Yep, I'm gonna throw my money into it because why not?" Right? Like, how does that even make sense? Can't you just wait until the game comes out? Like, are they gonna like not have any more digital copies? I just don't understand the logic behind it.
Fake single player DLC. So, you know how when you buy a game and say it has an expansion or bonus DLC and you buy the unlock to access that data and the game doesn't actually download anything new because the data is obviously already in the thing you bought, it's just locked until you pay extra? Yeah, they want that whole practice gone. They believe if you buy the game, the data is already there. Therefore,
Yeah.
no data can be locked away from extra purchases because it is, in CyberLeak's opinion, anti-consumer. The third commandment is, as you can see, thou shalt preserve single-player content. The idea here is that what CyberLeak is demanding is essentially what Stop Destroying Games is advocating for. However, they're not giving companies the option here really to fight back on this. If a game is always online and goes offline, we've seen this happen many times, there has to be a single-player version of that game that can exist and still be playable. And this, in CyberLeak's opinion, is also non-negotiable as well. So
Because like at the end of the day, the logic behind that is because like if it ever goes down, like I just spent all this money on this game. Granted, it's not like crazy money, but I spent money on this game for me to own it. And now because there's no more servers and the multiplayer is down, like I have no way of actually playing the game if I ever wanted to load it back up. Like I basically just have a piece of garbage because the disc isn't worth anything. The actual content on the game isn't worth anything because the servers are down. The only chance that you might be able to play it is if they ever bring the servers back and people actually play the game. Like, what's the point?
CyberLeak then plans to force the games industry into compliance is really what's going on here. Will it work? Who knows? But so far, Rockstar hasn't commented on anything. But the reality is that CyberLeak is 100% releasing unreleased footage, which is all over the internet now. And it's gotten so bad that other accounts are now popping up claiming to also be CyberLeak, and they are releasing AI generated videos of GTA 6, claiming them to be real. So you can imagine how this entire thing has gone off the deep end really quickly because, well, it's the internet. Who are we kidding? CyberLeak.
I was gonna say, now that you have like the base artwork and all that stuff, like a lot of people are gonna try and start just creating their own stuff to make it look right, especially when he's just leaking like the actual unreleased content. Like,
Also posted their meme coin, which has skyrocketed in value already following all of these leaks. The idea, from what I can gather, is CyberLeak is crowdfunding money from users via this meme coin to gain access to more powerful ways of hacking even more companies, if you can believe it. But if CyberLeak is already able to hack into Rockstar servers, which should have been more secure than Fort Knox, I mean, who is even safe from this sort of thing then? Anyone who then badmouths these hackers, I guess, will just fall to their sword before long too. I did see posts like this on Twitter where it's claimed but not confirmed that the apparent ending of Grand Theft Auto 6's story has been secured by hackers. And they are now dangling this in front of Rockstar's faces like a carrot as a way to force them into compliance. Which, if that's true, that is nuclear levels of bad.
Yeah, that right there would actually be insane. Insane. Because if hackers are able to gain content like this, like, how does any of the logic of digital games make sense? Like, in terms of just like server based things that need to be maintained, games that don't have like locked licensing or anything like it starts to become a real issue because how are these companies going to make sure my game's not going to get hacked and I just don't lose my game? Like, what?
If that sort of thing leaked, I mean, that would set GTA 6 back at least a year from release and then some. Rockstar would then have to go back and, change everything to something else. It's damaging, but that is what's currently happening. And we all know that if the ending of GTA 6 did leak, that would spread like wildfire. We would all
Yeah,
see it even if we
100%.
didn't want to. There were also rumors being spread, but again, I'm not 100% sure about this, but if they are legit, but anyways, that allegedly GTA 6 will also have its own currency similar to what Roblox has. Which, if you don't know, Roblox's in game currency is essentially a currency that can be applied and transferred to be like real world functioning, if you will. You can't buy, let's say, food with Robux from Roblox, but the idea is that, yeah, you can convert it into real money through other means, or people will just pay you for the Roblox money in the game, which people obviously do these days, as there are also creators who make things in Roblox and make a living off of it if you didn't know. So allegedly, GTA 6 is going to have something similar to that, where I'm guessing here, since we don't know the specifics yet, but I would assume you can get this GTA money in the game from playing, maybe establishing real shops in the game's world or through other means, and people would just wire each other real money for the conversion rates for this in-game currency instead. I mean, again, lots of games do this already. It's not something new. I mean, even Diablo 3 back in the day had a real money auction house, which was very controversial and eventually got removed by Blizzard. But again, that's a rumor. It's
Well, I guess, obviously, I know those things have happened, but like, I feel like GTA though, that's a little bit too realistic to be. Like, I feel like there's a lot of things that go on in GTA, especially with like the role playing, that I think could get like pretty out of hand, low key. Unless I'm just like tweaking, right? Unless I'm just really bugging out. But GTA 6 has a massive role playing community. And when you're talking about being able to wire like real money across the people, it starts to get real interesting.
it's everywhere. Maybe it's real. And if it is, oh boy, things are going to get messy, fellas. CyberLeak, however, via their Discord has, as seen here, started to bait Rockstar, saying that they know that they're online and see what they're doing, and that they're throwing out nursery rhymes like they're the Riddler to bait Rockstar into doing something. It's getting kind of wild, fellas. Here's part of what CyberLeak's manifesto said as to what they plan to do and why this is happening as it reads. Publishers sell licenses and call them purchases. They ship unfinished games and call them living services. They lock content on discs and call it DLC. They ruin games and keep the money. Every year, anti-consumerism tightens its grip, and every year gamers get less for what they pay. As PC Gamer says it here, CyberLeak's meme coin is being used to fund future infrastructure to ensure that they have the needed power to strike and protect themselves against future corporate counterattacks. Assuming that CyberLeak somehow survives this whole ordeal and isn't found and tossed in the gulag by Rockstar and their lawyers or hit by an ICBM, this sort of thing could spread everywhere like a virus. No company in theory could then be safe from hackers that, in their words, don't respect the paying customer. I would only
Right.
assume if Rockstar is not their next target, that PlayStation itself would be another obvious thing because of all the whole physical media removal idea. And we
Right.
could likely see if CyberLeak wanted to find out future PlayStation projects or other critical information and leak it too. I mean, Sony has been hacked aplenty in the past already, as has Rockstar. If you remember about 2 years ago, hours worth of content from Rockstar got leaked online. The same thing happened to Insomniac Games, which is owned by PlayStation. The hackers over there found out about Spider-Man 3, the canceled live service Spider-Man game, the Venom game, an
True.
X-Men game, and much more, right? This is all over the internet already. These things can and will leak. And I guess the more companies don't value or respect a paying customer, the more that's going to become their new reality. Because it both empowers the public, yet damages what can reasonably be done through legal channels when things like this keep happening.
Yeah, because then at what point are like we're gonna step in? Like there has to be a time where like people actually step in and or at least the companies have to step in to some degree so that they can mitigate their damages. Like because they're going to take it to a point where like it's going to significantly damage your branding and then your company as well. And you've already been hacked in the past. PlayStation has been experiencing um ridiculous levels of backlash, not only from the hackings, but obviously the physical media to digital media, and then just overall not keeping their services to a point that is sufficient or what it was in the past because they're so focused on just pumping out games and taking every little dollar out of your pocket rather than focusing on the systems that they have, ensuring that the systems are functioning properly, and giving the players what they want. Like instead of just trying to pump media and just trying to pump like content so that you can try and extract every dollar out of people and monetize everything. How about you actually focus on the quality of the game and the money will come to you? Like I know you're a big company and you want to just continue to try and get every dollar, but at what point are people going to start stepping away?
Can and it will give these companies the ability to strong arm further policies to remove control from users if these companies' stabilities are at risk. So it's not as simple as, oh yeah, this is great. I mean, even Stop Destroying Games has stated that they do not support what CyberLeak is doing here at all. Even though they both kind of want the same thing, their methods are on wildly different sides. It's like Punisher and Daredevil pretty much is what's going on here. As Eurogamer said it here, SKG is openly opposing CyberLeak's methods when it comes to pushing for the return to physical media and just how they're going about everything. As seen here from SKG's official Twitter, they are telling people to stop giving CyberLeak any money for their meme coin and that the DMC hits are not worth the risk of sharing these clips around on the internet, which is also why in this video there is zero leaked gameplay of what has been shown for very obvious reasons. SKG said more though, using illegal means to make a point is unacceptable to us and does nothing to protect our right to keep using what we paid for. No matter how strongly you disagree with the decisions of upper management at these companies, there are still thousands of developers who worked hard on this project, and they're the ones being hit the hardest. They said more, channel that frustration into something constructive instead. This kind of act is destructive and helps no one. Worse, it risks tarnishing the reputation of our communities and our chances to make change. History isn't on the leaker side either. The last person who did this to Rockstar back in 2022 ended up with an indefinite hospital order. This isn't a cause worth risking your money or your future on.
I mean, I just think that this becomes like an issue when there hasn't been much change and people are just seeing the direction that everything is going. Now, I understand you're saying that we have to channel it in other directions, but where does the overall just like okay pushback happen? Because at the end of the day, granted, you could also not buy the games and just not do anything and completely ignore it and go to other platforms like Steam, that are catering to the customers and focusing on the customers, um, and go in that direction rather than PlayStation and their ridiculousness. But I do think that legal things are obviously not worth doing. But I do see how people can take it to this point where it's like, yo, like you guys are really trying your hardest to do criminal activities because people see this and the things that PlayStation and Sony are doing as criminal, and you can see them being like, yeah, like, nah, this is not it. This is not
I
it,
do
and taking
agree
up
that the
action in
way
that
these
way.
leaks have gone down is not exactly going to help the cause of, say, bringing back physical games media or anything like that. Largely speaking, what this will do is one thing and one thing only, which is chaos for like everyone involved. But before you
Yep.
say I'm on the side of SKG or anyone else, let me just explain. Okay, let me explain this because it's a lot more complicated than that. Okay, Rockstar is not going to suddenly release millions of physical discs with GTA 6 because of these leaks. They know that if they did have a physical version of GTA 6 at all, that would be leaked in its entirety prior to release 100%, and we all know this. There will be some shop somewhere that would break their street date and start selling copies if customers began waving enough money in their faces, right? It happened all the time back in the day. With other big games, right? How many times has a Call of Duty game leaked online before? Like, it happened all the time. But Rockstar likely went digital because they wanted more control. That's true. But the key reason was to control the game from being leaked. But I'm not going to defend them for that, but that's likely the reason why. But it can't be understated that what Rockstar has been doing here has still started a tidal wave that has begun a domino effect of their own making. They're a big target. It makes sense for hackers to lock onto them. But I do think whether it's ethical or not, these sorts of groups, they will continue to attack people like a Rockstar because it rattles the cages. It gets people talking, which it obviously, I mean, I'm talking about it right now. And based on how
Yeah.
much that meme coin has jumped already, even if the leaks end up doing nothing, this CyberLeak person is going to make a bank either way. Am I against CyberLeak? No, not at all. I have no control over what they do, and they're allowed to do whatever they think is right. But either way, I don't see this situation ending in a happy way. It's either going to end with someone going to jail or the gates of literal oblivion being pulled off their hinges and just all hell breaking loose. Just looking at the comments on SKG's post, as you can see here, people are advocating that what they are doing by leaking things is morally the right thing to do. But what CyberLeak has done, will that actually result in any meaningful change or just like I said, more chaos? Although
Yeah, I mean that's always the conundrum. I mean, at the end of the day, you want the attention. I think that it still brings attention to everything. It doesn't just let it slip to the wayside because I do think that companies take advantage of the media cycle and how fast the news moves. So when they drop something or they say something that may be controversial or may be an issue, they can drop it. It'll be in the media and the news for about a week, and then potentially gets dropped and nobody speaks about it again. But when you have people that take action and are doing things to keep these issues within the media, people continue to notice, continue to take action, and want to talk about these because at the end of the day, it's going to be our future. It's going to be what we're going to have for our potential families, our kids that may want to play games. I mean, just thinking about, having children and also little cousins that want to cousins, nieces, and nephew that want to play games and you want to maybe play a nostalgic game. Let's say GTA 6 comes out and you want to play it 10, 12 years later. It's like, all right, well, I can't play it because it's digital and the server's down. That could be something that people are not going to be too happy with, right? And even when it comes to just having the physical game and being able to own that physical game's copy, I understand the security aspect, but I don't think having the pre-orders for that digital component of the game makes sense. I mean, I think you just put the game out at a time that you're prepared to have the game launch, and manufacture it that way so that you can have the most control and people can pre-order the physical copies the same way that all other games used to be. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, people may have leaked other games. Yes, there may have been potential buyers that are going to buy the game early, but at the end of the day, like, you have to be able to at least release, let's say, the digital copy first and just say, okay, you can own the digital copy, but for you to be pre ordering digital copies of games, like, I just don't see that making sense. Like, I'm going to be able to buy it on the day, no? Like, is it just going to go out of sale, out of business? Like, I mean, out of stock in the first day? Like, I can't buy it at that time? Like, I just don't see how that makes any sense at all, in my opinion.